over so I can see it. Good. I'm waiting for my YouTube chat to show up. Takes a moment. Huh. No YouTube chat yet, huh? Let's see if it starts now. Yes. Let's pop that out. All right, we've got us a chat. Testing Omniacs. You should be able to hear me out there. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, traders from across the globe. Caps lock. You can see in here. Beautiful. You good? Yeah. Nice. All right, so if you're looking at the screen, I'll show you what we did today so far. So far, all we did was go short right here in NASDAQ. We also sold an S&P trade, which we got out of at break even. Omni had us go short NASDAQ and basically turned out to be the high of the day. It was a perfect get in. Couldn't ask for better. Nice way to start the week, even though we didn't get a fill on Monday. We got fills on Tuesday. But not a bad trade, right? Look at that. Perfect spot to get in. How many of you were brave enough to take that trade when it came out? I know that that was a scary moment, but we follow Omni, not our intuition. In fact, somebody wrote in the room, Oscar, crude's down, the market's up. How could Omni be selling? As if I'm supposed to change my thought process and change the Omni arrow with every news blip that comes out. You know what I'm saying? I said to him, dude, what are you, crazy? We follow Omni, not your news blips. And what happened? We sold the high of the day. Kiss my butt, you guys who try to trade off news blips. So yeah, and then as soon as I said that to him, he went, oh, sorry, Oscar, my stops are in, I'm good. He lost his head for just a moment. And I'm like, seriously? What are we going to start changing the Omni with every news blip? Every time Trump says a word, we're going to change the Omni? That's not a system. All right, so I don't know what kind of a signal we're going to get today. We went from bearish, well, we went from bullish Thursday into Friday to neutral Sunday for Monday. And then it went bearish for Tuesday, which gave us a nice trade. I don't know what it's going to give us tonight. But I know we're going to take it, whatever it is. And Ross, I think, basically doing the same thing, still reeling from its double top. Looks to me like it's building a flag formation at the same time. Any comments, any questions, kids? You gonna try? Let me know if you get in there.
We going to the main or the other one?
Always the other one. The Omni room. That's the one that they've been working on. So.
The alumni?
Yeah.
There's two people in the other one.
There are.
Yeah.
Are they working on it?
I want me to go in and look.
Yeah. Yeah, because I haven't had a chance to do anything with this chat room since I went to Utah. I got in yesterday. I wrote to them and said, I'm back. Let's finish this task and send it to the public and see what they think of it.
Oh, said chat license expired. Please contact the license owner. From chat the other room. Maybe the working room. Yeah, no, I'm getting an error message.
That's what I thought, Mike. Reserve
Oh,
is
okay, cool.
monetizing debt that rivals COVID. They're refinancing.
When I tried both rooms, I'll have to try Edge, but that's a message I got. Same
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah, same
Okay.
thing with me last night. So what I have to do is go over here. It's probably here. And oh, it's missing. Maybe it's on another window. Not here. That's not that one. How could it not be here? I was using it last night. I didn't reboot. Oh, yes, we rebooted this machine. I don't know why it's not over. All right, so let's go to. Huh, no answer. So here's where we left off. Hi, Oscar, your trial period has come to an end. And I wrote, of course, can we extend it? And then they said, yes, we can extend it, but you got to make some kind of a small payment to show that you want the program. Got it. No problem. Let's get this done. I'll send you a 50% payment. That's the last time I've heard from them. Look, I returned home the other day. I returned home a day later than expected. Can we get back to work? I'm excited to finish and launch it. No word since. Isn't that weird?
True, but weren't they like that beforehand too?
Well, where we left off, if you look at the one before it, is okay. It looks exciting. As soon as you get back on Sunday, we'll get this done. And now they're gone. So let me see if I can find them here. All right, I can make the payment as soon as I get back. Let's send them this and see what happens. All right, so now I got them in an email as well. Sent. Let's just make sure it went through. Support. All right, guess we gotta wait on them. I hate waiting on people. All right, so what else do we have out there? Bitcoin. I'm going to give it another day or two, but Bitcoin is starting to look like it's actually making a stronger move. I'm going to give it another day or two and see if it's actually real. And if it's real, maybe we'll start getting back in. not yet. You know what I mean? It's the first up move it's had in so long. I just don't want to jump in yet. But we're watching. We got our eyes on it. How's gold doing? Gold looking good too, huh? You want to see something interesting? I did a set of analysis for an Omniac, and here's what I told them. Check this out. Just if I can get all of this into perspective so we can see it all together. He said, now you have to understand, let's take you back to where we were. Here's where he came to me and said, Oscar, what should I do? I'm in a gold position. And I did some analysis for him. And it's interesting how well it worked out. We're going to take a look at it together. Delete, 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 and delete. All right. So we were right here, exactly here on the chart. And my buddy from the UK is one of our great Omniacs here in town. He's actually been to an Omni camp. Great guy. He said, Oscar, I'm long gold. What should I do? And I gave him this advice. You will be safe if you keep your sell stop below the 43.60, 43.50 area. This is 43.95 right here. So I told him you will be safe if, let's see if I can find one. And let's get it to 43.50. Right there. I told him you'll be safe if you keep your stop under 50. And so this represents where his stop would need to be. And here's what happened. It went down, didn't quite hit it, right? Scared it a little bit and took off. It was perfect advice that I got directly from this chart, by the way. I took that advice directly off this chart. And he was able to score dramatically on gold because analysis works that well. I won't out who he is, but he knows what I'm talking about if he's listening. And now look at the channel building in this direction. Or at least it's not quite a channel, but you can take trend lines and point in the upward direction. Trend lines on this machine has changed. That's right, it's this. You can point in this direction now, which hasn't been the case for quite some time, right? The case has been the opposite. It's been this direction for the entire time on this chart in front of your eyes, right? It's been more like if you drew your trend lines, you would have drawn them this way. Then we started being able to draw trend lines this way. And now, boom, now we can draw them this way. It's a big difference in the momentum of gold. Now things are starting to go in that direction.
Anything?
Not at the moment. I will need to. We got to take care of a couple of things on this list, and we got to get this room back up. How we got to test it?
Mm-hmm.
That one's tough. I don't think there's a phone number, but we got to take care of some of the stuff on this list today. It's not so bad. Did you ever do the air filter? Yeah, measured it.
Yeah, yesterday we were saying, or I said it was like 19 and a half, 29 and a half, and you were like,
20
all
by
right,
30.
20 by 30.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, you can cross that guy off. Or just
Just
right
right
next
there.
to it. So we'll take care of some barley, and then I'll be back.
Okay. See you shortly.
Mm-hmm.
Could you turn that fan towards me just a little?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So turns out that we were short S&P, and that would have been a winning trade as well. We were short at 76.89. But I took a break even on the S&P because we did so well with NASDAQ. Why wait? Why even consider chancing it, you know? But none of you answered me. How many of you were brave enough to take the Omni NASDAQ trade? Because I know I was terrified. I was scared to tell you about it. All right, then. Let's look around. Okay. Now I'm scolding them. It's a scolding taking place now. Your silence is scaring me. This pay me no mind attitude cannot happen. If it does for another day, I will never use your product again. And we will not bother using it at all because I'm in a very important business. Timing is most important in our business, and I need a responsive crew. If I contact you, I need a reply like that. That's what I'm telling them right now. If that's not going to be the case, we have no need to go any further on this channel. And I'm sure when their manager reads this, they will get in touch with me in 8 seconds. I'm going to email them and I'm going to send it. Submit ticket. Shoot them an email. I'm going to open up a brand new ticket on these guys. All right, it's been submitted 3 ways. These guys better get back in touch with me right away. Otherwise, it ain't gonna happen. Anybody see the picture of my shark last night? His poor face. Oh my god. Oh. Okay, what are we looking at together over here? Nothing but the price board, which a lot of green on this price board. What kind of arrow are we gonna get? How's that crude looking? First down day in a while, or maybe second. Crude is on chart 5. What? That's better. It's October. Hello. Got it. 5. That's 8. That'll work. Okay. I'll get you that though. Absolutely. No, you want a copy of it. Very good though. Bye. Careful. Bye. All right. Back x-ray for Lisa tomorrow, and then we go to the doctor in a few days. Find out how this surgery is working. Is it working out? Anyway, that's a crude chart that we're looking at right now. Finally, a couple of down days. It's been quite some time since we've had any. Hmm. All right. Does anybody need to see anything? Anyone have any questions? Oh, by the way, we never took this trade because it opened up higher. So I just didn't bother taking it. So we didn't go anywhere near AMD. I mentioned to my trading room the AMD signal's going, but we don't really want to take it anyway. When was I going to sell that? So we did nothing with AMD. It looks like it's just about touching one of these round arcs, if you will, right here. And we did no trading in AMD today. Solana's looking fantastic, and the Omni token's built on Solana, so go grab your Omni token. Solana goes up, the Omni Phoenix goes up all by itself. If Solana goes up. See, is there anything? Nothing really jumping out at us today. In other words, there's nothing out of line on the board that I've noticed all morning. Nothing caught my attention to say, hey, look at that, how weird. Nothing at all. Stocks aren't really up or down much. They're all just kind of hanging around. Commodities, same. Not a whole lot of up or down on anything. Soybeans had a 13-point move. Corn had a 10. Barring that, really nothing happening here. Just one of those days. Not a lot. Don't forget, we are, third week of August? Talk about late summer markets. Anyone who hasn't gone on vacation, taken a few days, had to go do something fun, anyone who hasn't done that has a couple of weeks left to get it done between now and about the 9th of September. So, markets should get a little bit thinner for the next week or two. Then we come back to craziness, which I'm looking forward to. September markets, and that's when I start coming in earlier and we work a little harder and there's more trades that take place. So be ready for that, kids. We're gearing up for September. Mm-hmm. Is my wife getting better? Absolutely amazing. My wife's getting much better, although yesterday I see her and she is like crying in pain. Now get this. She's on Percocets, gabapentin, and muscle relaxers. 3 types of painkillers. She is crying in pain with this pain in her tooth. I'm like, Lise, how could your brain even know that you have pain in your tooth with all this stuff you're on? That's how bad it was hurting. I call a dentist friend of mine who says, you know what, rush her in here. Let's get her in the seat real fast. She's got a back brace on. We don't want to mess around. We get her into the office. He ends up having to pull her tooth. So through all of this, I had to take her to get her tooth extracted yesterday. But today she looks much better. So thank you for asking. And what about silver? Let's go look. Silver looks a little different than gold right now, but both metals are looking better than they did a month ago. Silver should be down here. Right, so we came out of what we thought was a bear flag, which is not, right? Because if it doesn't work, then that's not what it was. Or it's a bare flag that didn't work, but that means it just wasn't a bare flag. So we'll get rid of those trend lines. They have to go. They're useless now. It did not actually go in that direction. The head and shoulders brought us down to a flat bottom, which we thought was a bare flag. And we're heading back up now. And we got above that average. Isn't that nice to see? So no longer a bare flag. This would now say above average. So sorry, I didn't realize I had my camera in the way. I can't see what you guys are looking at first glance. I got to go find it and see what I'm showing you guys. So let's make this camera smaller. Get myself out of the way. Here's what I was showing you. What we had was what we thought was a bare flag in silver, where the pole was here and then the flag was here. But instead, it turns out to be a flat bottom because, look, we have been rallying. And now, as I was just about to do, it says above average. That's exciting. Different. Let's turn that red to green for now. We don't need any red around us when things are going well. We want green around us. So now that's what it looks like. And that's your silver chart. I don't hold any long-term positions. We tried to buy gold yesterday. We didn't get a fill. Had we bought gold yesterday, we'd have been out by the close anyway. Is this button for silver? What's that mean, Mazing? What you ask me? And are you a Met fan, by the way? Because if you had an A in front of your name, you'd be the Amazing Mets. So I do like silver above that average. And I like the fact that it looks like it's building a bull flag. And I like the fact that this thing down here turned out to not be a flag. I think we got saved when this wasn't a pole and this flat here wasn't a flag. All right, beautiful thing. Not a flag. And it seems to be bottoming out a little bit. But what button were you referring to, Amazing? Or amazing? Oh, well, that worked out perfectly, right? Showed you that guy. Well, we knew about this when it was happening. What is my gut feeling about NVIDIA's earnings? I don't use that. I use charts. Let's go look at the chart instead. The chart will tell me what my gut feeling is supposed to say, not my gut. Let's see. What do I do here? Let's go to QST. Let's go to NVIDIA. That would be on this machine. On this program. Where are you, NVIDIA? Let me pull it up first. And I'll show it to you. NVIDIA. And that's not open, so let's go open it. Open. NVIDIA, baby. So what would NVIDIA's earnings be by looking at this chart? All right, so I'm going to use logic on this more than I'm going to use analysis. And the logic on this, that I'm going to use Wall Street logic. I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. Let me make this bigger for you. All right, so we filled the gap. Now check this out. I think you are right about that. And here's what my assessment is. Let me just grab something to. All right, good. Check this out. NVIDIA's report's going to be coming out in about 10 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we bought them. Fill the gap. Fill the second gap, which kind of was already filled, but it wasn't really a gap. We fill the gap here. Hit support the day before the report comes out. That tells me it's going to be bullish. I would assess that the report will be bullish by looking at that. That's on NVIDIA for Wendy. Is AMD still a short? Well, it opened up higher than where we would have wanted to go short this morning. So in other words, whatever went on over the weekend, it opened higher than where the Omni was planning on getting in. So we took no trade. I'll do an assessment of AMD this afternoon when the market closes to find out if the Omni arrow has flipped or not. But we avoided taking the trades. So in other words, I set up trades, and as you know, those trades are exact where we're getting in, where we're getting out, where we're placing stops. Everything's already predetermined. So I've always got predetermined trade setups, which is why we sold S&P last night at 76.89, because that's what the plan was. That's why we sold NASDAQ at 29,420, because that was the plan. NASDAQ sells short, 29,420. So we always have a plan. Now, if I want to sell NASDAQ at 29,420 and the market opens up way higher than 29,420, I go hands off. Something's not right about the opening and I hands off. That's what we did with AMD this morning. It opened in a different place than our set of analysis had waiting for it, so we didn't bother to take the trade. And gold does look very bullish. I will agree with that. Gold looks pretty good. This is gold. Now, those trend lines aren't real. They're just to show direction. If I wanted to draw trend lines, I'd have to start actually hitting bars, but they're not hitting any bars. Just what I was doing with this was just to show that gold's trajectory has changed dramatically. In other words, this used to be gold's trajectory, which is basically a downward point, right? Looking between those lines, it's pointing down. But then suddenly that went away and we were able to start pointing sideways when we got the apex forming. And then finally, after the apex, look at what's happening now. Boom. Now you can draw your trend lines in an upward trajectory. We haven't seen that in a while in gold. That's nice to see. If I can just grab the end of this trend line, we'll be fine. Upwards trajectory. So that's what I was mentioning about gold. And yes, that's kind of bullish. Doesn't mean it'll have to go up tomorrow, but you're looking at a more bullish trend than, of course, that was here. That wasn't a bullish trend. This was a let's see what's going to happen trend. Boom, now we know what's going to happen. And one last thing I will show you is gold is above this average. Silver just got above that average. Interesting, right? Now, how can we tell how many people are watching on YouTube and Twitter? Can anyone figure that out for me? Anybody know how to figure that out? See if I can spot some of them myself. YouTube. Go to my channel. All right, if I go to my channel, I should see the same thing you guys are seeing. I do see that. about on Twitter? How do we figure out the Twitter stuff? If I go to my channel, my profile on Twitter, I should be live there, which I am. Very good. All right, this stuff is working out just fine. On Twitter, if you guys want to speak with me, I have a YouTube chat room that's open and well, let me just show you. If you guys want to speak to me on Twitter, we've got chat rooms. Here, let me just switch screens for you. Left screen. I've got a chat room here, my live chat room that's always open. And when I'm streaming on YouTube, we use the YouTube chat room, which I'll show you in just a moment. That would be this one. So if you guys want to converse with me on Twitter, either go to my chat room at Live with Oscar, go to YouTube and follow me, and then we can speak in the chat room. Otherwise, you guys following me on Twitter, I can't converse with you. I don't know how to do that. Maybe you guys can come show me and I can converse with you on Twitter, but I don't know how to get there myself. I haven't found the spot where we can type to each other. Not in a trading room like this, in the chat room. I'd rather that we're all in a chat room together. It makes it easy to converse. Thank you. I see like 93 watching on Twitter, but none of them have a chat room that they could speak to me with, which is terrible. I don't know if I don't see how. So in other words, when I go on YouTube, automatically there's a chat room if you want to pop it out. When you go on Twitter, I don't see that anywhere. So Benjamin, I don't know if AMD's still a short till I do my assessment tonight. We day trade. Oh, that just knocked me out of my chat room. Okay, it's just activity, I see. I want timestamps. All right. It's going to be made smaller. Vaughn G, can you hear me? Okay, I didn't know you could hear me. This is why we always follow the Omni Arrow, Vaughn, because I know last night was definitely scary. But you see how our emotions made you say, Oscar, why would you be shorting this? Why would the Omni be looking for the downside? Crude is down. And I said to you, oh, should we start calling the Omni based on news blips, or should we just follow the arrow? As it turned out, we sold the dead high in NASDAQ. The dead high about an hour after you made that comment. So I understand emotions can get to you, and that is living proof, Vaughn. You see how emotional something can be where the chart just knew better? Right? The chart knew, don't get emotional, just do what it says. You know what I'm saying? We did that, but how scary was that move last night? How scary was that to sell into? So I get you completely, but I was trying to convince you that never think these thoughts. Just always say, I wonder why the Omni would want us to short this instead of why is it shorting? I wonder what it wants from us, is the way I've learned to look at it, you know? Wonder why Omni wants us shorting this today. I guess we'll find out later, is what I've turned that scary thought into when we're getting into a trade that looks like the market's going in the wrong direction. So I'm sure you'll figure that out for yourself. But yes, I understand why you were questioning the Omni last night. I wasn't, though. I was just waiting for Phil's. In other words, once I have an arrow in a trade, I don't question it at all. If we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. We do it again the next day. Now, the S&P actually dropped to 76.72 after we got out of NASDAQ. But it didn't keep going and hit an Omni profit target, so I got out of break even. But actually, 72 to 89, there was some points in S&P as well. And you got to remember the bigger picture. We're trading in the third week of August. What the hell are we doing trading to begin with? You know what I'm saying? Why are we even risking this? But it is what it is. We do what we do. 72 to 89. Okay, that means I am running in the background somewhere. Where is that being played at? I hear a version of this chat room running in the background. It's not this. That's closed. It's this. Got it. All right. Now I can put the sounds back on. Yes. Hiya. You know what? We were supposed to sell Russ too. I didn't think it was a good idea to put us in all three. Russ, we were supposed to sell at. Where's my Russ trade? Oh, 30.28 was the Russ short. Now look, 30.28 was where we were supposed to sell at Russ. 30.28 says it right there. Sell short. Got to 30.25.40. Oh, Dolly Parton died? When did that happen? I guess that just happened, huh? Well, that's a shame. What a great force of nature. Dolly Parton, Queen of Country Music, dies at 80. What a shame. Dolly Parton's done.
I just saw.
Huh. That's a shame. Sorry.
Oh, you did.
I haven't checked to see if they wrote back yet.
Who?
Chat room.
Black Oscar.
All right, so day traders are tough, man. I chose the toughest way to live in my entire life that you could possibly live. I chose to fight every single day. I didn't choose it. I was brought up into it. This is what I was taught. Is what it is. And where's the YouTube chat? Steph loves her, huh? Tell Steph I said I'm sorry.
Sad.
3 times over the weekend, somebody mentioned a question about Stephanie, and every time they did, I thought of your Stephanie, Dano, except for Scott's wife is Stephanie too. I was messing up this weekend. I kept thinking of Steph. All right, so while we're sitting here, I am going to have to figure out how to rent those rooms. I usually do it with the Yahoo Mail. The rest doesn't matter. All right, sunset. Last night. Can I add to the cart? That would be nice if I could add to the cart. Huh? Book later. I could say book later. Wouldn't that add it to the cart? And then I can go find another one. All right, this will work out just fine. Add something in the cart. Rooms and raids. Oh, it's the same room. Look. What's this? Yes. I'll work with you in a minute, Mikey. Let me just finish this. I would like to. You mean you can't do these both at once? Oh, how stupid is this? Proceed to your payment. All right, so that's done. Let's do the next one. Let's go to cart. It's the one. Proceed. Oh my God, I got that again. Jeez. have to expect that they sent me an email, right, for my reservations. Right, Omni Campus, I have booked a bunch of rooms for you. You're good to go. What do I think about Bitcoin? Let's go look. Make sure that that was booked. Nice. Here's the print feature. I want print page. And I can remove those from my to-do list. So, done. Our filters are almost done. And let's see if they replied to us about the chat room. No reply. Scary. Wow, no reply. It's 3:01. Still got a good hour before stocks close. Can't call him until we start chat room again. Is Milton expecting me to call him, Mikey?
Not really, but like, thought it would be interesting goal for me, you know.
Okay.
It sounded like it didn't. But it wasn't like a set appointment kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Those T-bonds look better than they have in at least a week or two.
Thanks, crazy. Crypto really took off this past like last weekend, really.
Yeah, Bitcoin's had a nice 5-day run. I'm considering getting back in. We'll see what it does tomorrow. Okay, phone is clean. That's a line today. Tesla up 4. SpaceX up 3.25. So is everything up today, including the tranny? Yes, everything's up today. What kind of a weird signal is this going to be? What's that? Yeah, well, take whatever signal we get. We'll take new high natural gas, but it's so cheap right now it doesn't matter. So, spend a few moments calling some of these cats. Just give me a minute, and then I'll get started. Respond. No, I gotta respond to someone about this. All right, that will be next.
What up, guys? How is everybody? I left his cellular. You know, amazing. Once Oscar comes in, he'll let you know. Same thing with you, exiles. Of course, I don't want to give you a wrong or nonsense answer, you know. Oh, Ethereum is red now. Oh, damn, it was green like the whole time I was looking at it today. Must have just flipped not too long ago. Yeah, what did you think was happening? Let's see what we got. Black Oscar. Yes, who's calling? Oh, well, hello there. Ah, well, hello there. How are you?
Okay, so what do we got? I saw a video the other day. I can't say I remember who. I'm just reading the chat room.
Yeah, you have 2 questions.
What do you, Bloomberg market price to earnings chart up was pronouncing this the most expensive stock market ever. Um, he's not looking at the bigger picture. This is to the exiles. Whoever showed you that chart doesn't really understand. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know this was off. Fuck. All right, whoever. So the exiles. You saw a video yesterday. Can't say you remember who it was, but he had a Bloomberg market price to earnings chart up, which was pronouncing this most expensive stock market ever. This is the most expensive stock market ever. Does that give me concern? That stat makes sense. He's not looking at the bigger picture. Okay. He is forgetting. I'll write it to you as well. It's the highest it's ever been. You understand? It makes perfect sense that this is the most expensive market ever. If you're going to show a stat, and that stat says, look, the price to earnings ratio is at the highest it's ever been, and you're showing it when the markets are at the highest they've ever been, what could be wrong with that stat? What makes that stat out of line? So he's taking a stat that should convince him that this is normal and letting it panic him. But what's abnormal about this being the most expensive market ever if it's the most expensive market ever right now? What makes that statement wrong or questionable? Nothing at all. So there is this. You must understand, a lot of people who do analysis, who assess markets, they don't have the experience I have. You got to watch who you listen to. There are people that just, they think it, and because they think it, they know they're right because they went to college for not just 4 years, they stayed another 3. So they know now that anything they think of has to be right. And you have a lot of people out there like that. Because I thought of it, it's got to be right. Well, you know what? That's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my entire life. Just because you thought of it in trading means it's going to be right? Not a chance. Just because you thought of it means nothing. It's another thought with millions of other thoughts around the world that come in every day to figure out what they think about markets. And thoughts are something I stay really, really far away from. So my answer to you is whoever showed you that chart doesn't really know much about what they were showing you. In other words, if you see a 25-year-old guy writing something, what the hell could he know? What do you know? How could he know anything? They know how to write better. The big thing used to be I reverse engineered something. That used to be the big thing. You'd always get these hot shot kids that come out and would say, I've reverse engineered the markets. And if you follow me now, and people would fall for that nonsense. Oh, you have, huh? I have heard it all in 45 years. Never seen any of it, but I've heard it all. Never seen any of it materialize, I should say. The other thing that you'll hear about as common is that the U.S. has too much debt, and we're going to go out of business soon. Once again, when you have the most money you've ever had in your country, you expect to have the most debt you ever had in your country. That's the way this works. They go together. So, yeah, we got higher debt than we've ever had before. We have more money than we've ever had before. Anyway, just sharing some of my common sense with you kids. Does that help at all, by the way, exiles? Hmm. Um, so maybe this will help too. I have so many people out there that swear we're in a bear market. And let me show you what that means. Are you guys watching the screen? This is the ES on a weekly chart. This is the all-time forever high. This is where we're trading right now. In fact, let me blow that up a little more for you. I did this in the video last night. This is the all-time forever high right here. The highest the stock market's ever been in all of its life. It's never been higher than this. And we are literally sitting right here. Okay, the all-time high forever, we're right here. But there are people that will literally tell you that they're right, that they've been calling the bear market for the last year, and they are right, and this is a bear market. There's one of them in my room right now. I promise you he thinks this is a bear market. It's what he's been calling since the day I met him. So you have to watch who you listen to. You got to watch what's going on out there. You got to see this stuff with your own eyes. And you got to be careful, again, who you listen to. There are people that just don't know how to look at this properly. I've been trained since I'm a child on Wall Street. I know how to look at this properly. So many people don't. If you get confused, come see me. I'll see if I can make sense out of this for you. But this is not a bear market. It's not even close to a bear market. In fact, it's not even a correction. It's just market movement. That's not even considered a correction. It's just market movement. I think there may be another one. Let's go look at 17. What's on chart 17? Nope, that's not it. Maybe it's 20. Yes. On chart 20, we had our correction already. So it seems. We'll see what happens. But that's the real picture, and we're not in any scary market here at all. We're just in a market moving around. And you're looking at this teeny bit of movement in the summer, no less. We got blessed that this is all we've seen this summer. Any comments? Any questions?
Comments, questions, concerns.
Well, okay. So that's interesting, MCM. The bond market manipulation by Besant is scary. Once again, bigger picture, you have to always be looking at. Do you not think it's been more scary with the banks and the vigilantes controlling and manipulating the bond market? You're actually scared that the government's going to come in and try to stop these assholes? That scares you? As opposed to the assholes and what they've been doing to us? for the last year and a half? Come on now. You got to look at the bigger picture here. Uncle Buck is going to step in and help us out. Thank you, Uncle Buck. Someone's got to stop these idiots because they're driving mortgage rates through the roof, but their rate that they borrow at never goes up. The Fed lowers rates, banks come in, send the bonds down, push those rates higher for us, but the banks get those lower rates. So how could you be worried about him and not worried about what's happening before he got there? Hello. Yes. I would. Well, when's the last time you used it? You know, you'll have to show that to me. Are you home? All right. When I get a minute, I want you to show me how you usually point it, and then we'll see if we can figure it out. All right. All right. Very good. Bye.
I was thinking about
Mike.
Hmm.
In the green room, there's 2 magnifying glasses. Did you get them from me?
Sure. No problem. Is there an option where if you're not a member for a chat room, but you get a link, you get like a one-time use name, and then if you like what you see, you then go and create a whole username thing?
Well,
Or does that create too much?
yeah, we don't want guests to just be able to come in off the street like that. We want them to have to at least sign up at the site. Because it stops bots. Otherwise, you get bots
Oh, yeah,
constantly, right?
yes,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah,
only way to
find the
stop
bots.
robots from coming in.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Oh, the room will just
Makes
fill with
sense.
bots.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so now what he's about to do, I don't know if it's good or bad. I do know that Powell had a chance to do this a year ago and refused because he was getting into a tiff with Trump and left us in this mess. So now that we've got someone who's got to get us out of a mess, what he's going to do is probably going to be unprecedented, and we don't really know what it means. You know what I mean? All you could do is guess here. What does it really mean? Let's check, though. Let's check that link. How do I get to the rest of the story? Seriously? I can't read the rest of this? Unbelievable. So here's what I'm gathering from this. It's called Kick the Can. And that's what this is going to be. portfolio. P-O-R-T-folio.
I actually have some questions.
Let's forward that to Dana.
Do you need anything else for Dom?
Huh?
Don't remember if one of you asked me for something. I got the magnifying glass, but
No, I'm good. I'm just catching up on some stuff. The room's kind of quiet, so it's giving me free time.
Susan.
And then I would do what I go. I haven't paid, when I went to the hospital, when I retested, I had to pay that rent on the spot, which I think.
So what the Fed's going to do is sell bonds to pay for this new bond mess. Mr. Tipton, what's going on, brother? I know, I just gave him one for the first time ever. I was like, this is going to be so excited. Now, I don't even know if I have the portfolio on this machine. This is a problem. Yeah. As long as I know what charts they are, I can do that. That's easy. Because I did take 3 of them out. No, in all honesty, out of all of them, I removed 3, and the 3 I removed also went up, even though I removed them. That whole portfolio has done really well since it started. So I think that there are people that are actually in some of those trades because I started that like a year after after it came out. I almost called it COVID. A year after AI came out, I created that portfolio and did a Metastock seminar, and I've been doing them ever since, webinar. So I might as well keep all those same stocks there, you know. Plus, it just shows that analysis works that well. I made those calls 2.5, 3 years ago.
I paid the hospital and stuff, they wouldn't even pre-test until I.
That's just what I was thinking. If I go through the video, I'll write down the charts. I can always pull them back up. You know me, I don't mind doing the extra work.
But that's not even the next question.
And what I would normally do on the charts themselves is when I did a webinar, I would put a W on that day's bar. And so every webinar I've ever done, there's a W on the chart to show the last webinar, last webinar, last webinar. So if I have them, I'll be just ready to go. All I gotta do is tighten up the charts a little. Oh God! Don't let her answer the phone. So, what happened to Mike King when he was getting older is he would get these calls, and he would think it was real business. And after a while, they went through all his credit cards, they emptied his bank account on him. We had to take the phone away from him, because you know what can happen. They can easily trick an older person.
So don't pay any.
Wow.
Right. That's right. And, what's the hospital bill? Okay.
That's in September, right? It's after Omni King, and it should be a week after camp, so I should be okay with it.
Right, cause now I see.
It could be better.
Oh, maybe this would be in-house doctor. This one is for $652. And again, I have $10,000 deductible.
Sorry about that, guys. I had to take care of that conversation. It was with Dano, by the way. All right, so let's see what you wrote. Mr. Tipton. Yes, I saw. I don't know who. I couldn't figure out who it was. Yeah, I don't know what would have created that, but it could be something like. Sorry about that. Anyway, so let's get back to what I was reading for you guys. Today, the Fed Chairman Walsh has argued against sustained use of central bank's balance sheet, signaled he would like to shrink it. Yes, of course, he'd rather shrink it with selling bonds. Maybe this is what Tom Lee meant when he said the market always tests the new Fed chair. The bottom line is that the cost to borrow for the folks is too high, and that affects spending absolutely. The second is the so-called Term premium, the extra return investors demand for lending government money for longer. Uncertainty about inflation, doubts about fiscal sustainability, and less demand for price insensitive buyers, central banks, foreign reserve managers, and pension funds that buy for policy or regulatory reasons rather than for value could all increase their term premiums. So the bond market really is in charge. Absolutely. You heard that from a video from me a week ago, right? It's all about the Fed now. Yardini keeps saying the bonds are not relevant because earnings have surprised to the upside. Well, that's not true. But it matters to the folks because of the K-shaped economy. The article is a buzzkill, reads, but it lays it all out nicely. I did read it, didn't I? I thought I read this already. This whole talk is about $4 billion? Oh my God. That's it? What's wrong with you people? We buy and sell that many bonds per day in the open market. All right, look, I'm reading this article that you guys put in the room. The U.S. Treasury surprised investors on August 19th when it announced it would at least double the amount of longer dated Treasury bonds that it would buy back from investors, from $2 billion to $4 billion. That is nothing. That is nothing. It's meaningless. It's like your pinky nail. If you had to worry about all your nails, it's the pinky nail and just a little piece of it. It's nothing. All right, here, I can prove it to you. How much money in bonds gets swapped at the open window per day? By Fed window. All right, on average, the Fed spends between 5.2 and 5.6 billion per day on this stuff. What are you guys worried about? That they're going to spend $4 billion for the week? So what? It's nothing. I mean, it's a drop in the bucket for what the U.S. government does. It means nothing. But talk. It's just talk. They're scared of bonds. The banks. It's meaningless. You understand that, right? Am I losing you guys on this? It means nothing, $4 billion in the bond market. We do $5 to $6 billion a day in movement in our bond market. If our Fed treasurer is going to say, I'm going to spend $4 billion on bonds, it's not even one day's worth of movement. It's nothing. It's just talk to get the bank's attention. The Fed's not allowed to trade the Treasury's account. The Fed has to ask the Treasury for money. The Treasury has to say yes or no. They don't just use it as a piggy bank. It's got to be approved and given. Well, he must have been. In other words, you can't just do it because you feel like it. The Treasury has to approve it. In other words, you can't just go on a whim and spend our money at the Treasury. It's got to be approved. Yeah, of course, but you can't just do it at whim. It's got to be approved. The Treasury thinks it's right. The Fed thinks it's right. What makes people on the internet be right about it being wrong? What makes their stupid opinions right? And again, this whole thing is about $4 billion. I mean, seriously, in this country, where you have companies that have $1 trillion cash sitting around, you think $4 billion matters? Doesn't matter at all. What they're trying to do is get the bonds, get the bank's attention and the bond vigilantes, and let them know if you don't start covering, we're going to force you to cover. So start covering before we make you cover. Then when you cover in a panic, you'll lose money. So start covering your shorts and get out of this mess is what is being told. You guys can think anything you want. That's all they're telling them is get out before we take you out. Now, does anyone remember me yelling at Powell, telling him he had this moment a year and a half ago? Powell, this is your moment. Lower by a full point. Smack these banks. Give them a beating. Chase them out of the bonds. And he started arguing with Trump and decided to go with a quarter point, like a knucklehead. And he created this mess by basically allowing his feelings to get involved in whether or not he should have made a big move on the bond market. So, what he did wrong, he left, obviously, for the next chair to have to clean up. In all honesty, it's not that much money. Yeah, tell him, Tron. Well, don't forget, MCM Powell gets one vote. If the rest of the board doesn't agree with him, he can't do anything. He gets one vote. Now, because he's Fed chairman, he gets to put pressure on the other voters and have some of their votes changed. That's a possibility. But he only gets one vote. He can't just be, it's not what, you know what I'm saying? When you become the Fed chair, that doesn't mean that what you say from now on is what happens. That's what it looks like to us. When he sits down with the other 12 people, if they don't like it, they don't like it. That's that. No, we're not doing it. You know what I mean? He doesn't have the power to just wave his magic wand. Who signaled the banks that they had their backs? The banks are the scourge of the markets right now. It's the reason why we don't have low interest rates. Well, that's probably true. I think Powell did have their backs. I don't think Wash could care less about banks, and I don't think he's going to play that game at all. Oh, he should have taken that action. I mean, he knew he was supposed to do that. All he had to do was give him one big punch in the beginning of lowering rates, and they would have all bailed. When he gave them a little quarter point, banks got enough money to take that quarter point and turn it into a half a point the other way. I don't know much about his wife. I have heard that she's a billionaire. I've never bothered looking her up, although we probably should know about her because I promise you he lays in bed at night and he speaks to his wife about decisions he's going to make like everybody else would do. She's Estee Lauder, huh? Wow.
Whose wife?
Wash, Kevin Wash, who's the new Fed chairman, his wife is an Estee Lauder heir.
Seriously.
How about that, huh? Look at crude making new lows. Maybe we get a buy signal out of them. Wouldn't that be great? Go crude went from 85.84 to 81.08. That's good. Markets just closed. You know, we're not going to be able to do that soon. There's going to be no close. They're going to start running these things 23 hours a day. We'll get like a 1 hour close somewhere.
Oh, Jane Lauder. It's his wife.
Kevin and Jane, huh?
Jane Lauder is an American heiress and businesswoman.
All right, so get this. With a teeny little amount of money that she might not even notice, Kevin Walsh's wife can solve that $4 billion problem. Apple could solve that $4 billion problem. Nvidia could solve that problem. Elon Musk could solve that problem and not even see it disappear. What makes you think that's a big problem for the United States? It's worth way more than Elon Musk.
She's the granddaughter of Estee Lauder.
Ah.
Her father is so Lauder.
You know what? If you just give your money away, it won't solve the problem. If you create something that makes things better, you're helping solve the problem. And that's what he does. He makes things to make things better to solve the problems. Because if you gave it to the government, what do you think's going to happen to it? I think we have the right leadership right now. I think we have people in Washington that actually are trying to do a good job. We haven't seen that in some years now. I don't know that the Republicans before them were doing a good job and the Democrats weren't doing a good job, but it looks like these Republicans are doing a pretty good job. Well, that's because you are saying that no Republicans get reelected. I say when push comes to shove, this country does not want to go socialist. We're going to reelect the Republicans again. We don't want to go socialist. There is nobody here that wants to go socialist. You got 5 politicians that speak like they're socialists, and everybody in the country, every news outlet acts like that's the way the country's going. We're not going to put up with that shit. You'll see. Nobody does. No one puts up with shit in this country. Only for a certain amount of time, and then we get pissed off. I thought Bill Clinton was one of the best presidents I've ever seen in my life. Reagan was a good one, too. I think Bill was one of the best presidents that we've ever had. Now, you can take attitude, personality, and that he cheated on his wife and make that part of the presidency, which makes you a child. You remove that, look at what the man did as president. He was a good president. He was, you know what he was good at? He could get both sides of the aisle that hated each other with a passion to come together and agree to stuff. I mean, when Bill Clinton was president, we had a $4 trillion national debt. When he got out of presidency, we were surplus of $4 trillion. It moved $8 trillion in the right direction. You got to give the guy credit there. Now there are going to be people that are going to come out and go, oh, all he did was he did a little accounting. I'm sorry. If you could do accounting that worked that well, we would do it now. You can't just do accounting and make the debt disappear. He made the debt disappear. That was a good man.
Okay. Now they also said that if I overpaid, like, say, $2,
Ha! At least that's me laughing out loud at that statement. You overpaid them, they're not going to give it back. They'll wait a year. So I think this country's going to go, nah, the last thing we want is the stuff everyone comes to this country to get away from. They come here to get away from that. Why would we want that here? And the U.S. isn't stupid. You'll see. The narrative on TV is bullshit. The U.S. isn't stupid.
what happens if you have insurance? No bills, insurance pays.
What are you talking about? Are you talking to them?
People want to fix income. Yeah, wait, where are they pulling that? Because I know when
Relief.
I went for retesting, they looked me into the they made me pay before they even take me for retesting. And it was found. I think we were right at my deductible.
We know for sure we met your deductible. At least they made me pay it before they would do surgery. 80, another new low in crude. Let's check the straights. Are the straights of Hormuz open? Let's look.
Chaos and nonsense. And then you don't have a breakdown of what this whole.
Okay, right now we have total of 401 ships waiting, 0 ships crossing at the moment. 1 went through last night. Strait's not open at the moment.
550. And that was my second. That was one, just me, how many people got that one? That day? Okay, so. Yeah. So what did they get?
The 80s was complete excess. Everything that anyone did in the 80s, you did it with excess. If you did cocaine, you did too much cocaine. If you bought new cars, you bought too many new cars. Everything we did was in excess in the 80s. It was a great decade. What a great time. We were total Romans in the 80s. It was just a great, prosperous time for this country.
I'm curious, because like Bill said, before one of the anesthesiologists.
Look around 79 through 91, right around there. That whole period was just the best.
Put that claim in first, and you're like, the bill, I said, just put it on hold, no, we can do that. We'll see what that is. But thank you so much for answering the question. Okay, you said-
All right. How much are we on the hook for so far, Lise?
40 cents.
What?
Yeah, 40 cents.
How much are we on the hook for so far?
I might get it back from you and have to give it to them. All right, thank you so much. All right. You ready for this figure?
What's the deal? How much do we owe on the surgery, huh?
Wait,
Oh my
the
God.
hospital billed, or the whatever, $550,752.68.
Wow.
That's just me.
550. He did 6 surgeries that day.
But wait, they're lucky if the hospital gets 56,000 from all this.
So
'Cause
10%.
like 400 of it comes off, like they take that off.
All right, so 10% is what they expect.
Just outrageous.
All right, wait a minute. What do we owe? I don't care about the doctors. They make their money. What do I owe on this mess?
Well, right now, we got a bill from the anesthesiologist. It's who puts in the claim first.
Lise, can you just throw numbers at me, please?
I don't have actual numbers for you. I'm trying to explain to you the story.
Go ahead.
So because the anesthesiologist must have put in his first, right now technically we're liable. It's $21.57, whatever. But if we overpaid, which we would have, they have to give it back to us. A lot of times we'll get the money back to then give it to
Someone else.
someone else.
So far only 2,100 plus the $5,000 we spent on other stuff.
No, I have something else for 600. I don't know what that is.
Nah, it's not so bad. We're at the 10 grand.
But we met our deductible, but
Yes,
we
I
didn't
know.
meet our deductible till August 24th, as of yesterday. So they must have like 90 days to put in all this paperwork.
Yeah, because I wrote a check for the deductible before you had surgery.
Yeah.
They made me write it.
Yes. That was when I was there and you had to give her the stuff over
So
the
there's
phone.
probably going to be another 10 grand on top of this, you're saying, huh? Somewhere around there. Because we already spent, I can't tell you how much on stuff. 10, 15,000.
Get a lawyer and sue them all.
So they charged $550 for a back surgery. He did like 7 that day.
I know.
So they charged $3.5 to $4 million. They expect to get back out of that about
Maybe
350 to
1,000.
400,000. That's not a bad day's work.
But now, why all the nonsense of all these ridiculous numbers?
That's the way
and,
insurance
yeah,
is right now. You
they
gotta
all
charge,
say it.
you
Anybody
got to
you
charge
call,
them $1 million so that you get 100,000 from them. You know,
it's out. Yeah, but you,
and then they stick
you,
you
the
with the rest of the
customer,
bill.
gets caught in the middle
Yeah,
of
I
right.
know.
So even
Believe me, when I speak to the doctor, I'm going to
Listen.
ask him if he can be nice. You've made your damn money. You're going to continue to charge me. See what he says.
it has nothing to do with him. This isn't him. Now you're getting hit with the anesthesiologist, which isn't him.
Mhm.
So anyway, the insurance lady said you could ask them to put your account on hold, and the anesthesiologist said no, absolutely not. You
What's
have
that
to pay
mean?
the bill. Like to put it on hold until you see, because if the hospital took more money, they
Have you
have
called
to
them?
technically give it back to you.
Have you called them?
Yes.
What'd
And
she- what'd she
told
say?
me they will not put the account on hold. It will still either you pay it or, at some point they'll put you in collections if you don't pay it.
That can't happen.
Well, I'm just telling you what
All
they're
right.
telling me.
Make sure you stay on this stuff. Let me know
Yeah.
if it starts to get
This is
squirrely.
outrageous. But I said, but what if I don't get the money back? She goes, no, absolutely not. The hospital or whoever cannot keep your money. If you've
What
overpaid.
extra money are we talking about?
It sounds to me like whoever puts the claim in first
Gets paid first.
Okay. So this money we had to pay the hospital might end up, some of it might come back to us because it's more than they should have asked for.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then what happens is usually it comes out back to you, which has to go to
Back to
somebody
another,
else.
whatever. Okay.
Whoever builds.
It'd be nice if they send it to us. We'll send it to them. Whatever. All right. You're getting better, Lise. That was the important thing.
Whatever.
We'll get through this. Don't let it bother you that much.
No,
Listen, here's the good thing. It cost us $550,000,
No,
which it would have without insurance, right? All right. So whatever it costs us, it beats the hell out of that number. Right?
Who would have that?
Consider on the
How many
$550,000
people
we
would
did all
actually
right.
have operations if that was the bill?
Well, that's where the problem comes in. You end up not being able to afford it because you got to buy something else.
Like they created
Well,
that whole
MCM,
world.
whether I owe it to him or not, I'm not going to let it go into collections. Is what it is. The world keeps spinning. You can't ruin your credit while someone else is putting their finger on you. You spend your whole life making sure your credit's right. You can't let some jerk ruin it, Oh, are you kidding me, Dano? We went for a procedure. It was $1,250 per procedure. $240 without insurance, $1,250 with insurance. That was my deductible. I had to pay $1,250 for a $250 shot. I said $240 shot. I said, let's just say I don't have insurance. Give me the shot without insurance. He went, nah, you've already told us you have insurance. Now we gotta claim it. It's already in the system. So had I walked in and said I didn't have insurance, $240. How about that, huh?
But here's where the problem lies with that. Well, like say it's a regular doctor. You could go in and pay the cheaper rate, but if they prescribe you medication.
So what you do is you go in, you don't tell them you have insurance, right?
Yeah.
You let them do the procedure. You pay them the couple $100, and then you put the insurance through. You put the pills through insurance.
Well, I'm just saying, when you go to the pharmacy, you might be paying through the nose because it's not a plan. I'm sure they thought of every angle.
So here, someone's asking me about NVIDIA. Let me show them the NVIDIA chart. This is NVIDIA. That's for you, Lise. You're supposed to be doing your back thing now. You gotta go inside and set up. Did you hear me?
What?
That's for you, that alarm. You gotta go inside and set up.
Oh.
You gotta go put that thing on your back. All right. So, you wanted to know about NVIDIA. Orlando. NVIDIA has reporting coming out tomorrow. So why would NVIDIA spend all the days going down, fill the gap, find support, and then a report's coming out? I say that was done on purpose. This chart shows us that NVIDIA's report should be bullish. Should end up going up. Trendline properties. Do not extend. Is it extended? No, good. Let's make it fatter. So we suspect, if I can get to that stupid trim line. Out of my way, you. It's such a pain in the butt, this system. Seriously, you're not going to move. Come on. What is going on here?
Recent transaction.
Oh, that's better. This is what we expect after the report because of what they did before the report. All right. So people keep asking about NVIDIA. I'm going to tell you something right now that you're not paying attention to. We're building about 800 data centers across this nation right now. We're building about 300 factories that will be creating chips. NVIDIA has seen its time. NVIDIA is going to see nothing but competition moving forward. Is everybody listening? If you heard that, make sure you say something. This company has seen its day. Where did I type that? Oh, yeah. Cool. Let's make that bigger. It's too big. Make that writing a little smaller. Make that 18. And now you can read it. This company has seen its day. It will face competition for years moving forward. Now, doesn't mean the report is going to be rosy and beautiful. Those factories aren't actually functioning yet. It's got its time still, but it's already seen its day. Okay, NVIDIA faces a massive supply and demand imbalance. Can anybody, without looking it up, tell me what the first number one tenet is to capitalism? Anybody? Be quick. Does anybody know what the first tenet is to capitalism? Find a need and fill it. And if you don't think that's what the world is doing right now for NVIDIA, boy, you're not paying attention. There are every company who can figure out a way to fill the need of chips and data centers is doing it right now. Do you think they're just going to let NVIDIA sit there with backlogged orders and not jump in on their turf? You know what I'm saying? The game is on, kids. Don't worry about it. You'll see. This country will come up with a lot of good stuff, and NVIDIA will have to deal with it. What was that for?
I said I'm gonna go do that machine.
Do you need help? Well, I'm kind of done here until analysis time. I come out and help you. What? Oh, really? All right, give me a minute. I'll come out with you. Let me just shut this stuff down. Just give me a minute, Liz. All right, kids, I'm going to take a quick break here, see where the market's going to be next. Make sure you guys hang around. I'll be in about 40 minutes to figure out what we do tonight for tomorrow. For now, stops are in, emotions are out. Thank you.